Hey, welcome! If you're gearing up for your ACI Field Grade I certification, you've landed in exactly the right spot. We're about to break down Section 2, all about the temperature of fresh concrete. This is going to give you everything you need to know for both the written test and the hands-on performance exam. All right, let's get right into it. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dig into why this test is so critical in the first place. Then, we'll go over the specific tools you need in your toolkit. After that, we are walking through the official test procedure step by step. Next, we'll nail down how to read and report your results with the right precision. And to finish it off, we'll do a rapid-fire review of the key numbers you absolutely have to remember for the exam. All right, so let's kick things off with the big why. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of how to do the test, you've got to understand why it even matters. Trust me, knowing the why makes all the other steps click into place. So why is this so important? This is a classic question. Your examiner might even ask you this directly. Why is the temperature of that freshly mixed concrete such a massive deal for the whole project? Well, temperature affects pretty much everything. It messes with how fast the concrete sets, how it gains strength, both early on and in the long run, and its overall quality and durability. Think about it. Hot concrete sets up way faster and gets strong early on. But here's the catch. Its ultimate long-term strength can actually be lower, so controlling that initial temperature is absolutely key. Okay, Section 2. Let's talk about your toolkit. Now, for the ACI exam, using the right gear isn't just a suggestion, it's a requirement. Using the wrong stuff or equipment that hasn't been calibrated, that can be an automatic fail on your performance test, so listen up. And before you even think about touching concrete, we gotta talk safety. You need your full PPE. That means safety glasses, the right gloves, steel-toed boots, and whatever else the job site requires, like a hard hat and vest. Safety is always job one. All right, here it is, your main tool of the trade, the temperature measuring device. As you can see, you might have a classic dial one or maybe a digital one. The type doesn't really matter. What does matter, and this is prime test material, are the specs it has to meet. Okay, stop what you're doing and look at this. This slide is basically a cheat sheet for the written exam. You need to burn these numbers into your brain. Accuracy, plus or minus 1 degree Fahrenheit. The range, it's got to cover from 30 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The part that goes in the concrete, at least 3 inches long. And verification, it must be checked for accuracy at least once a year. The container you use, whether it's a wheelbarrow or a sample bucket, is just as important. The rule of thumb is simple. You need at least 3 inches of concrete completely surrounding that sensor. I'm talking top, bottom, and all sides. And hey, pay attention to this part. If you're working with really big aggregate, over 3 inches, that cover requirement jumps to 3 times the size of that aggregate. All right, time to get our hands dirty. Well, figuratively. Let's walk through the actual test procedure. Remember, during your performance exam, the proctor is watching you like a hawk, every single step. And here's your first critical time check. 5 minutes, that's it. From the moment you get your concrete sample, you have a maximum of 5 minutes to start taking the temperature. The clock is ticking, so don't mess around. Okay, so first you get your representative sample. Then right away you insert your thermometer. And what's that magic number we keep talking about? That's right, the sensor needs to be at least 3 inches deep right there in the center of the concrete. Now this is a pro tip, and something they will absolutely be looking for on the performance test. After you stick the thermometer in, you gently press the concrete around the stem. You're doing this to close up any air voids and make sure that sensor is totally surrounded by the cement paste. That's how you get a true, accurate reading. Okay, the thermometer is in place. Now for the moment of truth, getting that reading and reporting it correctly. And like I said, timing and precision are everything here. So once it's in, you can't just read it right away. You've got to let the reading stabilize. For most concrete, you're going to wait at least 2 minutes, but no more than 5 minutes. Got it? 2 to 5 minutes. Now, if you're dealing with that extra large aggregate we mentioned, you might have to wait as long as 20 minutes for it to settle. Listen to me on this one. This is probably the #1 easiest mistake to make. You have to read the temperature while the device is still in the concrete. Do not, I repeat, do not pull it out to get a better look. The second it hits the open air, the reading starts to change, and your test is completely invalid. And speaking of getting a good look, get right down there. Get your eye on the same level as the needle or the digital display. If you look at it from an angle, you can get what's called parallax error, which means you might misread it. It's all about being precise. And for the final step, writing it down. The standard is super clear on this. You report the temperature to the nearest 1 degree Fahrenheit, or if you're working in Celsius, the nearest half a degree. Not 1.5, not 75.2, to the nearest whole degree Fahrenheit. Okay, that's the whole process from start to finish. Now, let's do a quick fire round to lock in those critical numbers for your written exam. These are the details you just can't afford to forget. Ready? First up, 3 inches. What is it? That's your minimum immersion depth and your minimum concrete cover all around the sensor. 3 inches. Next, 2 to 5 minutes. That's your stabilization window. Don't read it before 2 minutes have passed, and don't wait longer than 5. And this one's huge. Verified annually. Your thermometer's calibration has to be checked at least once a year. If it's not verified, your test doesn't count. Okay, let's wrap it all up with the official performance checklist. This is your game plan for test day. Number 1, submerge that sensor at least 3 inches. Number 2, press the concrete around the stem. 3, wait 2 to 5 minutes. 4, read and record to the nearest degree while it's still in the concrete. And 5, report that temperature. You nail these 5 steps, you're golden. And that's it. That's everything you need to know to crush Section 2. Go over the steps, drill those numbers, practice the procedure, and you'll be fine. You've got this. So let me ask you, are you ready to go out there and ace this test?